All right, here we go. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Keeping It Real Estate with Petey and Scott. I'm in Orange Beach, Alabama today, so mind the pineapples in the back. But Petey, what do we got today?
Hey guys, I'm Petey. We are going to be talking about your choices when you first start, or even after your first year and seeing how hard it is. Are you going to be a solo agent, or do you want to be on a team? What's the differences? Looking inside your personality, there's going to be a million people trying to sell you to join their team, especially if you've had a little bit of success. And they're going to tell you all these stories about why you need to join their team, how they're going to make you better. And I think a lot of it, and Scotty and I will attest to this, is find a neutral party that has nothing to gain from it and see where you fit in. Do a self audit. Come talk to us or somebody that you trust in the business and figure out, do some pros and cons of where you might fit in. Scotty, when you started, I know you started off as solo agent and then you created your own team. But
Yeah,
I remember you telling me a story where there was some guy that was coming at you hard to like
yeah,
join his team. What
yeah,
stopped you
yeah.
from doing that?
So I came in with I had a good friend from college who was crushing it, and so that's actually how I was like, hey, what do you think about your brokerage? She loved it, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna join there then. So having her there who was really good and who was willing to be annoyed by my thousands of questions, right? And then there was another there were a few people in that office who really like wanted to just help agents get better. And I don't,
Or do
but
you
that's
think it
not,
was just you and your charming personality?
that
Because
was part of it. It was part of it. You got to come in soft with the questions. But so I actually had really good support. And that's not most people's story though. And that's the thing too. You don't really know if you're going to get that support up front, right? It's not usually your broker, right? Your broker is the person who's dealing with putting out fires, dealing with all the legal stuff. Like the broker is usually not the person in the office who's going to help you become a better agent and teach you what to do. But that's who you interview with. You interview with the broker, but that person is going to it literally is going to help you when you're like, hey, where do I go for this, or like, what document do I need for this? They'll help you sometimes. So finding some support. So I had somebody come at me hard from another brokerage because I was trying to do some open houses and reached out. He had a good listing. I was like, hey man, can I, I'm new or newer, can I do an open house in this area, because I think it's going to be a lot of foot traffic. So he was like, well, I like to meet with people first, before I do anything like that, which is fine. But that was his, he was like, kind of coming at me that way. And when I met with him, he was like, hey man, my buyer's agent's out of town this weekend. Looking back, I was like, he probably wasn't out of town. He probably just like, said that to try to get me excited. But he was like, hey man, so I have yard signs with leads come, like, and like, if people call the yard sign, then usually goes to my buyer's agent. I'll have it go to you for the weekend, or for 4 or 5 days. I was like, yeah, let's do it, man. Why not? And I got a deal out of that. I got a closing. I gave him the referral, 25% referral. But I got leads I had leads coming in all day because he had a bunch of listings. And so, he was just having his team work those leads. But the reason, and so, yeah, so he was like, hey man, why don't you come? So he was kind of like, see what I can provide for you, like
right, you had
he did it the
fishing
right,
on you.
he did it the right way, man. He was like, look, see,
Yep.
like, you just got a contract. See what I can provide for you, right? And I was like, yeah, I actually, that's nice. And the reason I didn't really is because at the end of the day, I had a strong support group at my brokerage who they were helping me and teaching me. And then at that point, it came down to, do I really want to give that much away every time? So the question came down. It did come down to leads. Like, can I get my own leads and convert them, or do I want to start out having someone else, provide leads for me, and then I can jump right in and do it. So I don't, I mean, there's no right answer, right? It's like, what do you, like you're saying, it's kind of like, what your personality, what do you prefer? Do you like buyers? I mean, so I have agents who I brought into the business who don't want to do anything with buyers. They're like, dude, I'm only going to do listings, and they're doing it. Like, I mean, they're doing it, which is fine, right? If you know that right away, it's going to be hard to join a team and you're not going to get listings from a team as a new
No,
agent. That's
no.
you gotta come and bring it. You're right. You gotta be a rainmaker at that point, or just know that you're just going to have to do that. So being on a team, you're going to be a buyer's agent, and you're going to be most likely split 50-50, right? So plus the splits to your brokerage, but you get a system and you get leads coming in usually, and you get help and support because that main agent, they're usually taking 50%. So it's worth it for them to spend some time with you and train you and teach you, So yeah, long answer, but yeah. So I mean, yeah, what do you think? Let's
Well, I
jump
mean,
into it.
truth be told, I'm not a team player in terms of like following somebody, doing whatever. There was a
Yeah.
moment where I was like, when I first started, because I didn't know anything, I would have probably jumped on somebody offering me to join their team. My only problem was ignorance. I was too
Yeah.
ignorant to ask around, and I was too ignorant to, which is insane. I get it, because you shouldn't be. You suck at this, and I think that was where my first 9 months and being at a smaller brokerage, I didn't understand, which I'm kind of glad I did. For me and my mindset, I've always been, I'm gonna do what I want, and that's just how I do it. I'll figure it out. And
Yeah.
so to have somebody come through and now looking back, telling me what to do at that time after being my own boss, it wouldn't have worked because I wouldn't have listened. I probably would have, but it would have, the candle would have burned out a little bit sooner than later, just because I would have been like, well, what am I giving 50% up for?
Yeah. Yeah.
Unless I'm making 200 grand a year, 150 grand a year, it would have had to be somebody that would have had to have been spectacular to make me want to follow them. And I think that is the key right there. When
Yeah.
you're brand new, you're hungry, you suck at this business like I did, and you're arrogant about it because in your mind you're thinking you should be the shit. You have to almost have a come to Jesus meeting going, the person that I'm going to follow has to have some kind of charisma that keeps me captivated. And tell me if you're right. Tell me what you think if I'm right or wrong. Most of these people that run teams, unless you're one of the really, really big ones, they just threw a team together. So knowing the history about your team is huge. I would do multiple rounds of interviewing and talking because everybody's going to sell you the dream and they're going to make you promises. They're going to be like, Scotty, come join my team. I got so many leads. I got more leads than I can live with. All you got to do is just go on appointments. Now, if that's the case, sign me up, right? Because that's the easy part.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's like if you have to farm your own food, go fishing, then you better be able to learn from somebody that's willing to teach you. And I think, again, like at the beginning, when I was at that 9-month period where I had only gone on one showing appointment total, I would have welcomed the team. And I actually remember, like, when I went to that new brokerage, I met a guy, and he was probably one of the biggest a-holes I've ever met. To this day, I will never forget it. And that's that chip on my shoulder type of thing.
Yeah.
Where I sat down hand in hand. I was like, oh, I heard you're doing really well, blah, blah, blah. And then the dude big time me. But in front of people, he's talking about Jesus and why he does this and da 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 da. But to this day, I'll never forget that face.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that. And you're looking at it going, I'm glad I didn't follow him. But there is a lot of good teams too, where there's a lot of good leadership. There's a lot, and because what it will do is it will save you when you do go on your own to the systems. Right? You don't have systems in place when you're a solo agent.
Right.
You're kind of like, I'm going to throw stuff up against the wall. I'm going to hope that it's there. I mean, how many mistakes do you think we made as a solo agent trying to learn processes and all that stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Fun, right?
Yeah, you just make it up as you go, right? Because you don't have anyone teaching you.
And I think, like, when people are going, you have to go into the mindset of joining a team going like this. What is my expiration date? And if they can keep me longer than that, that means they're doing a heck of a job. I think most teams should follow that rule because, like I do with my guys, hey, stay with me for a year, learn everything, copy everything. I don't care. Walk away with those leads. Don't burn me, but just walk away with them. Get yourself going. But if I am so good at what I'm doing and I believe that I could feed you and your family, then that means I've done a great job if you stayed longer than a year with me. Because now you
Yeah.
want to be part of my family and help me grow, and you're making you're able to sustain a lifestyle that's comfortable for you, even though you're giving me 50%. And I
Yeah.
think that's where we should gauge teams, because otherwise you're just a lot. I've seen so many teams that are just picking up bodies too. Oh my God, you right, Scotty? You look at it, you're going. I, I knew this one team, and they literally cleaned house. Well, they didn't clean house. Their sales guys walked out on them every 6 months,
Yeah.
and that's exhausting too.
Oh yeah, to start over with training people. Yeah. Well, that's a good question. So let's say if I'm a new agent and I'm like, okay, I want to interview this team. I mean, I would interview someone on the team. Like, hey man,
Yes,
what's your experience? How long have you been here? How long is the longest person been here? Like on this team,
and
you know?
never interview the top dog either. Interview the guy that's the newest. Ask him, can you introduce me to the guy that's been here a month, 2 months, 3 months? That's the guy that's hungry, that's going to either be
Yeah.
upset or tell you the truth.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's so much that goes into it. So yeah, like you said, systems, right? Learning systems. What I did was paid for coaching, right? Like two grand a
I love
month.
it. You're
You know,
starting to make me want to pay for coaching.
yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just everybody's got to do it. No, not really, not really. No, that's not true. But like because I was like, well, how do you, again, it's like I'm always looking at this through the lens of this is a real business, right? How do I make it a
Mhm.
real business? And I don't want to be the mom and pop shop, right? Like I want to I
Nope.
want to I want to be the I want to be like, oh man, like that dude, he's got it together. That team's got it together. And it's again, it's about the experience. It's about having an experience that everyone can have that's the same, right? That you bring people through. And so I was like, I don't have these systems. So, but I could have gone to a team. Okay, so let's just throw some numbers out there, right? Okay, so for me, I spent $2,000 a month for a couple of years, right? To like learn some systems and to take some stuff. That wasn't the only reason I was doing the coaching, but that was one big reason that I could implement these systems into my business. Whereas if you're on a team, you can see what they're doing, and you can obviously, you might not be able to take exactly what they have, but
Right.
like every tech tool they're using, right? And then you can at some point and even start looking at the cost of those things, right? Okay, how much does that system cost? How much does that system cost? Well, if I'm going to go out on my own and I do want to build my own team, what are the numbers here? Like
Right.
am I actually going to be spending? Where are the leads coming from? That's another question too, is like, because like when I started trying to build a team, I actually I didn't know the quality difference of leads at that point. I had no idea, right?
Well,
It was all
let's
about
talk about
converting,
that,
right? Yeah.
because nobody explained it to you, right? Your broker
Mm-mm.
didn't. So I think this is where the misconception is when when you're looking at brokerages too. It starts with that, because you look at it going, you're gonna have a broker recruiting you. You think you're the filet mignon of real estate because everybody wants to talk. Oh my God, how many times have you heard from people? Everybody's talking to KW, Edina, blah blah blah, and you're sitting there going, I don't want to burst your bubble, but you're not asking the right questions right now.
Yeah.
And the lead part is a huge first question to ask, because you walk in there going, you hear like that was my biggest thing why I put $5,000 into Zillow my first couple months, because I kept hearing, oh, I got so many leads, blah blah blah, da da da, and you don't realize it's not about leads, it's about appointments. You could have a million leads, but if none of those people are even looking, or they're not appointments, then they're bad leads. Like I remember there was a guy telling me that he spent $2,500 on past client leads of somebody else, right?
Yeah.
What does that do for you? Those people don't know you. Now you're just mining for information.
Yeah.
And you're sitting there going, you're brand new, you're hungry, you're calling all those people, and they have zero relationship to you. You're better off standing on the street, holding a sign, going, I sell real estate, and I'm looking for work, because
Yeah.
that's the hard part, right? Because nobody's explaining it to you. And
Right.
so like quality of leads is a big thing, and that's what we will touch on too. Is number
Yeah.
one. And where do you begin with that? because you got 15 million people calling you and emailing you, telling you I got leads for days.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Well, and for me, so I started spending a couple $1,000s a month on leads.
Yep.
And again, I'm like I'm a team leader at this point, right? This is the path to success in real estate, right? So, so I bring on some agents, new agents, and I bring them these leads in. Conversion rates, national conversion rates are like 1 to 2%, right? And so, and that's looking over probably 12 to 18 months, right? Maybe even 2 years, right? Like these are, and so I don't, but I don't know these. I mean, I know a little bit, right? But I don't know all
But you
this stuff.
don't. Yeah, you
And
don't. And you don't want
so,
to inundate yourself.
yeah. And so like the conversion, so not only are the leads hard to convert, not only are those types of leads hard to convert, I got new agents trying to convert them who had no idea, right? Like I think
Mm-hmm.
2% is probably like a good agent, right? Like expert,
Right.
maybe up to 3%, right? But now we're at beginner stage one, probably half to percent to 1% over a 12-month period, and I'm trying to get them fed right away, right? And so it doesn't work. So like you coming into a team, like if you would have come to me, you would have been getting garbage leads,
Right. But
you
it's
know,
true.
like
And at
and
least you can admit it though.
yeah,
That
but
is
I
one
didn't
of the
know.
hardest things.
Yeah, I didn't know they were garbage leads at the time, but
Mm-hmm.
now I'm looking back, I'm like, those are garbage leads, man. And it's just like, but it's just a type of lead that you got to work. It's just a different system around it to convert. But yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead. I interrupt you.
No, but you know what though, and that is a great point. But I think what you're missing is what you literally just said. Own up to your mistakes. You
Yeah,
need a team leader. If they walk around thinking their stuff is perfect and they have never made a mistake or they didn't da 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 and everything is great, run. Absolutely run. Because
yeah,
they're not a problem solver.
yeah,
They don't self-analyze. They might, but the thing is, if they're not willing to just say, "Hey, I'm not perfect at this, but I want to work on it,"
yeah,
that should be a red flag to you going, "How's this relationship going to work? Because I'm not going to be perfect. I'm brand new."
yeah,
And if they're so egotistical, and that's this business, that, hey, all my leads are money. Then
yeah,
you're like, no,
yeah,
no, 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 no. That's not the person that's going to help a brand new person or a second year person get to that next level.
yeah,
You want the
yeah,
guy in the dog trenches of you, figuring out how to do this,
yeah,
knowing the market week to week. And that's where, like, it's funny because you say it and you laugh, but it is funny because you were able to say it with competitive, like, those were not good leads. I was not good at what I did.
yeah, yeah.
So leads, one thing. What's the next?
Yeah, and just real quick on that, on leads, right? So everybody hates on Zillow, right? But that type of lead
Oh,
it's a right now money lead. And that's something I learned that from you, because I personally have hated on Zillow on some things that I've experienced personally. But then when you come in and you're like, dude, man, here's what I've done with that platform, then I'm gonna rethink. I'm gonna be like, all right, well, I'll rethink it, and I'll learn. You're right, like you said, like you gotta continue to learn and evolve in this business.
mm-hmm.
But those so like if you are looking at joining a team, or even on your own, if you're thinking about spending money, a pay-per-click lead, a Facebook lead versus a Zillow, or even like OpCity or Realtor.com, some of those where they do a live transfer connect to you, where that person wants to go look at a house right now. That's a very different lead than somebody who just would click the button on Facebook or Instagram, right? Like those are two completely different types of leads. And so going into the, interview this team, like, where are you getting your leads from? If they're getting them from Zillow, then like there's, first of all, they're investing a lot of money for their team in that situation, because the cost of those leads are way more, because they convert faster and better, and actually your skill level can actually be less, right? Because I mean, you can kind of get lucky as a new agent, because you literally just show up and open the door, and then if they like you, they're like, well, let's write an offer, right? Like, which it doesn't happen on these other leads. I'm not saying that obviously you're a great agent, and like you use that platform and you can convert
No, but
at a higher
agree.
level, but like a new agent can get away with like some mistakes at that level on that type of lead.
what is the number one thing new agents want? Money. They want to make a deal. They got to get experience. Here's the thing. Phones are great, but that just teaches you rejection. And I preach to my guys, learn rejection. Get people to realize that you're not loved by anybody. They will click the phone, ghost you, whatever. You may have had a great conversation, but just learn that. Accept it. It's okay.
Yeah. It's not
then
personal.
You graduate to that appointment lead, right? What'd you call it? You know, the appointment setting leads. But that's how we should break it down. Yeah. There's the pay-per-click, which is hard. 1%, right? And then there's, I want to get a straight appointment. And it doesn't matter how much money you have to pay for it. And get that in mind, guys. It's all about, are you going to get paid? Will you gain experience? Because your first year, second year, third year, fourth year even, it's all about reps. So you have to go wherever there's experience. Learn how to write purchase agreements. Learn how to do all, because there's so many steps to this. And yeah, it seems so easy from an agent that does it all the time. But if you don't get reps and you're not continuously doing this on a daily basis, you're gonna fail, and you're gonna be frustrated. And I think where I see it is, I look at it going, I mean, you've talked about this on numerous occasions, going, listen, it doesn't matter how many years you've been in this business. If you're not consistently doing it on a daily basis, doing something real estate related, you're not doing your job. You can't do $100,000 a year, expect to make $100,000 a year and work 3 days a week. It's impossible.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Especially as a new agent. It's not happening.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's not happening.
Yeah. So leads, I think leads is a reason why someone joins a team, I think. But going a little deeper on where the leads come from, what are the systems like? Really ask some questions, because here's the thing: you're making a team leader money, you're making your brokerage money, so you're interviewing them, and it sounds cliche, but you really are. Like, PETEY's the only person I know who got rejected from a broker, but usually you can work at any brokerage.
I walk into brokerages and I get that PTSD of, are they going to let me in there? So will they let me be a part of the team?
Oh, man. But usually you're interviewing them, right? And so what's the value that they offer? So for me, again, I had support. That would be, that for me is the number one thing. Do I have even like an individual, not, do I have an individual who I can go to, who's going to give me the support I need, like, when I need it, whether that be a mentor or, it's, on a team, you're going to get that support. But don't just know that if you're going to interview a broker and you're thinking about going in as an individual, I would ask for a mentor, and you not the broker.
You just hit it right there. So many people mess up by going, I think the broker's going to teach me. You got to tell the broker, I want whoever's the best person that that you can do a solid, and say, hey, can PETEY or can Scotty follow you around for the next couple of weeks and lay out the ground? Dude, I don't care. Let's say it's me and I want to follow you. I'll be like, Mr. Broker, I know Scott Hardesty. I think he's great. I want to meet him. I want to shadow him. And I'm going to meet you, Scotty. I'm going to tell you, hey, tell me, what do you need? You need somebody to go get you coffee? Go get it. Just let me follow you around. When you have a PA to write, I'll write it with you. Is that okay? Mm-hmm. Let me make your life easier. And you will be shocked at whether you're on a team or whether you're a solo agent, how quickly you will learn. Will the first 3 to 6 months suck? Yeah. But you, after that, will learn every tendency because you're with that person all the time. And I think that was my biggest thing. Was my number one guy followed me for 3 to 6 straight months. We had lunch together, we ate, sleep, did everything. And I'm making my new guy, Bryce, do that too.
Yeah.
He will learn. You will learn exponentially faster and get on a routine and a schedule and be so much more successful by shadowing somebody. And I think that's more of the key than deciding whether you're going to join a team or whether you're going to be a solo agent. You hit it right there.
Yeah. It's definitely more important than your splits starting out. You got to you got to invest in yourself. and in your business, right? Because if you're on a team, you're really investing in yourself. You're getting the experience. But once if you go from there to going solo, you still have to invest in your business, right? So even if your split's better, right? I mean, how much are we spending on our businesses right now, right? Like it's
Oh
like
man.
as a solo agent, or if you're building a team, you're still spending money on your business, and so it's going to be one way or the other, right? So I would find the best support, the best situation for that. So yeah, I think I think that's some good stuff, man. I wish someone would have had this conversation with me starting out, like
Hmm.
to really look at the nuances of all this.
Yeah. What was your, when you were in your first, second year, what was your lowest moment? Like the moment where you go, man, I don't know if this business is for me.
Yeah. I I think it was when I was at the gas pump, and I had to look at my bank account to see if I could fill up my gas tank.
Right, right, right.
Right? Like
But
broke. Like am I gonna be able to do this?
mm-hmm,
I don't have a pay. I don't know, like I don't know the next time I'm getting paid. There's
mm-hmm,
nothing under contract, right? So
nothing.
like how do I where do I go from here? Like, can I actually do this?
And I
That's
think that's hard, right? And what'd you end up doing? You looked and you got back on the grind the next day and you kept going out, going up, going up, going out. This
Yep.
business will eat you up. And we all have those low moments. Shoot, I remember doing that. I remember, sitting in the back of an Uber or sitting in front of Uber trying to talk to you. And again, you don't see a finish line in sight. And that's where we get so concerned about splits and about all this stuff. When you're so new, you got to remember it's not how much money you're making, it's having money to be made. You got to make something. Something out of nothing is better. Something out of something is better than 100% of nothing, right? And I think that's where, like, for me, it was like realizing 9 months had come by. I'm working 3 different jobs, barely making it, and I got nothing to show for this aside from I just wasted my time. And what people don't realize is time flies. Like, you could be in this business starting first day, and you'll be shocked at how fast that first 6 months goes, that first year goes. And what I always preach is don't waste a day. You got to figure out who to align yourself with. And I think that's something that for me, even aligning myself with Sky and partnering up with him was difficult because I didn't understand how to network with my peers. And I think if you can learn that early, you're gonna be 100 times more successful too. And if you can learn how to, if you are on a team, learn how to and be upfront. I'm gonna start off with a year and we'll see where this goes. But I want to learn this business and I want to learn how you run your business. Not that I'm going to take your business, but that I want to be able to budget it for myself to learn how to do this independently if I ever decide to. And I think those are big things because
Yeah.
if you have a game plan ahead of time, you could be on a team and be successful. If you have a game plan ahead of time to be a solo agent, then it's just, again, the game plan part of it is it's the number one thing you should do. But
Yeah.
do not listen to somebody selling you the fluff and saying you're going to make 6 figures and I'm going to help you do it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Well, and that's and real quick, I mean, I think we're gonna wrap this up soon, but making sure the team leader is willing to share with you the system, because
Yes.
some team leaders don't want to train you and then have you go off on your own, right? They're trying to build a team that's going to be there for a long time, which is fine, right? Like, it's a lot of work as a team leader to mentor and train and put all this stuff together. I was always like, I just want you to be successful, right? Yeah, like, I mean, let's get you to a place and you decide, right? Like, you got to figure out for yourself where you want to go and what you want to do. I would ask that up front, right? Like you're saying, like, I got a plan in place. Like, I want to
Yep.
do this for 1 year. Is it, are you okay doing this for 1 year? But I want to know, like, the ins and outs of the business also. And that might be a red flag if they're like, nah, like, and it's up to them, right? They don't have to share that with
Right.
you, right? It's their
Right.
business. They don't have to, but you may as well ask up front, and then but
and be okay with the no. Be okay with that. And go, you know what, this isn't the right person for me. And you know what we're not talking about is the latter. The person that wants to be codependent. Because there's nothing wrong with that too. Real estate's a hard business.
Yeah.
If you feel like you just want to sell and you just want to be a part of and have somebody hand you leads and you're working the 9 to 5, type of job, and you want structure, then a team is definitely the way for you. We never chose that, but again, there's a lot of people like that. You can't have a bunch of chiefs and no Indian. Right? That's the way it is. But it's just, I think where people again start is do a self audit and a self reflection of like, where am I at in my life? What kind of stress do I want? Where do I want to be so that we can do this? And that's where I would tell everybody, if you're just starting real estate or you want to reach out to Scotty, reach out to me. We will talk to you. We'll walk you through this. You got any questions? We would love to help you, because don't get in that dark place of like, I don't know what I'm doing and I'm not going to ask anybody, because that's the worst,